Oh, we're live! Thank you for the... You should be hitting the keyboard.
Oh, I've got to save the keyboard, my friend.
Oh, you have... Is that piped in, Mike? Is that piped in? Oh,
Special
my goodness.
Surprises.
We are so live right now. Welcome in the Fantasy Footballers live stream. Friday, a couple hours ahead of the second round of the NFL draft with a reaction live stream.
First round. I mean, you had its lull moments and then you had its big bangs.
It was a slow burn. Like this was not a microwave situation. This was the soup was on the stove, and when it was ready, it was piping hot, and it was incredible, man. It once we got into the 20s, that thing took off like a rocket ship.
I've been told that monocolor Andy looks like a crayon, so I look like a crayon on the live stream. I'm chilling out at Cliff's house, by the way.
Yeah, you're looking good over there.
Yes.
Cliff has a big property. It's about 7,000 square feet.
Does Cliff know you're there?
Cliff has well, he wouldn't be able to find me in his own house. And it's about 7,000 square feet. I thought I'd chill out,
in his backyard.
In his backyard, which, by the way, if you saw the picture of Cliff's house, you would have noticed the fire was going. It was like 98 degrees here yesterday. The fire was going in the backyard, just for posterity's sake. But
gotta look good, man.
I'm relaxing after that first round, and why not? Why not relax if you're Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals with Isaiah Simmons at number 8?
In the first and DeAndre Hopkins in the second is a pretty good draft.
Oh, my goodness. But very excited to be with you. We're going to be walking through the first round with our fantasy football reactions. We also want to remind you about the UDK prize pack. If you don't know what the Ultimate Draft Kit is, it is the number one most effective award-winning tool that we've brought out for the last 5 years to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts. What we're doing right now with Draft Week is we're giving away some pretty cool stuff if you buy the UDK, if you pre-order it before Sunday, April 26th, which is the end of the NFL Draft. We're giving away a Listener League spot, which is really the, biggest prize here.
It's the creme de la creme.
Yes, I was going to say that, but I figured I'd mess it up, Mike. And then we're giving away
the cream de la cream.
A video
as they say.
fantasy draft review. The three of us will hop on Zoom. We'll review your draft. Very excited about that. A signed Julian Edelman jersey, signed Davante Adams mini helmet, and which is Jordan Love's newest weapon, Davante Adams. Did you not?
Yeah,
that correlation?
I'm actually excited. I'm excited to see what weapons they get for Jordan Love in the rest of the draft here tonight.
Did we also mention if you have already pre-ordered, you are in the contest? So do not sweat that.
And you can see on the live stream there, ultimatedraftkit.com, if you want to get in on that before Sunday. This is going to be a lot of fun today. Your questions are coming in. You can't hear them, but we've got Judge Giamatti and Al Borland standing by. They are observing the questions. They are pulling some questions out, and we're going to answer them throughout the stream. We don't have an end time on this stream. We're not going to be talking for a long time. But
yeah, there's some eclairs that need to be eaten during the course of this live stream.
Yeah, save it, man. Save it. You
we'll get there.
Maybe some Clyde Edwards LaCroix that you're going to have to end up
yeah, I like it.
devouring. I will say this. First impressions from, and I've talked to several people about this. Jason, I know you and I talked about it. I was altogether impressed with the NFL's production of the now record-breaking first round of the NFL draft. I think it said 16.5 million people watched the draft. It didn't feel deficient, I think, in almost any way, shape, or form. It was a little sad to me that these players weren't up on stage.
Sure.
But outside of that experience, which, by the way, not every player even goes to the draft. I mean, you probably have, 25%, 50% that don't even go to the first, round at the draft. It just felt like the draft again to me. It was
almost to an annoying point where you had the few of us who sometimes we like to watch the world burn and we want to see the NFL have a funny technical snafu, which honestly we finally got it. We got it at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
But before that, yeah, you are completely right, Andy. Like I thought it went off close to as flawless as you could possibly ask for. Tip of the cap to the commissioner for just leaning into the whole getting booed. Like, this is part of the draft. I don't want to take that experience away from the fans, so let's at least do something with it. Like, the production was pretty solid. I only heard commentators talking over each other like a few times. Maybe once somebody forgot to talk, which, given the circumstances, that's a great job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, first question I see from Milkhouse says, "How mad is Aaron Rodgers?"
Oh man,
are we starting with that?
Sure,
we're
let's
doing
start
whatever
with
we
that.
want to do. This
we're
is
here
a
for the
live
people.
stream. Yeah, we'll walk through the picks, but let's just start with how mad is Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let's just say this: if you're a 13-win team and you're nearing the end of your Hall of Fame career, and you really desperately need a good offensive piece next to Davante Adams, and you're sitting there, and you see that your team trades up,
Yeah, it's on.
You're
go.
excited, man. I can't wait to see what wide receiver I got.
I've been
And
told
then-
am I too loud now?
And
No, you're
then,
good, man.
are you kidding me? They draft the replacement, and it's not like when Aaron Rodgers
No.
fell. I know people are like, "Oh, it's the same situation."
No.
Not at all. Aaron Rodgers was touted as like, a top-notch prospect who fell because maybe there was some attitude. Jordan
And
Love
on
is
top of that, Brett Favre was already flirting with retirement.
for like 4 years running.
This was the Green Bay needed to do something because their quarterback kept saying, "Well, I may or may not play." I think that year he committed to playing again in March. Like, they didn't know how long they were going to have Brett Favre, so they made a move. They had the next guy up.
But this signals the end. This says we are trying to find your replacement. It's not now, it's in the future, but that's got to be. And here's the craziest thing. My information's a couple hours old here, but the last thing that I heard as of a couple hours ago was that the general manager still had not talked to Aaron Rodgers since the draft.
Come on.
How in the world are you the general manager of the Packers and you're not? What is happening?
You have to imagine, and it was incredible because Drew Brees is 5 years older than Aaron Rodgers, and you have the situation where they drafted him weapons and to protect him, and then they picked up Sanders this offseason, and the Packers grabbed Devin Funchess and then they're a 13-win team and don't use the first-round pick on a weapon for Aaron Rodgers. He has been perennially under-equipped, and say what you will about him. I used to love Aaron Rodgers. I've thought he's become more of a me guy in the last handful of years. They had the falling out with McCarthy. Blame whoever you want about that. But we joke about it on the show, the grimacing. Look, there's nothing to dispute the talent of Aaron Rodgers. If I had Aaron Rodgers and he was the most cranky Scrooge I've ever met in my entire life, I would want that cranky Scrooge at quarterback for the next 5 years without threatening him with a very maybe yes, maybe no prospect. This is not a situation where, you can't just go to the well and say, I'm going to draft the next Aaron Rodgers in the 20s every single time. It was a jaw-dropping moment for the draft.
And here's the thing for me. So they spent a first-round pick on the quarterback. So they used their most valuable pick of the draft. They used a fourth-rounder to move up to get him. Aaron Rodgers is he's getting paid for at least the next 2 years. Like that, he's your starter. Or I guess if you want to pay your backup $20+ million, but you can't get rid of him this year. Let's say you move on to next year and you want to get rid of him. That's a $31.5 million dead cap move. That's not happening.
No.
Then
the Patriots have just acquired Aaron Rodgers from
no,
that is not true.
2022, he would be a $17 million cap hit if you just got rid of him. So it's Rodgers for at least the next 2 years.
It's just
how could you spend this year's first round pick on a guy who might start for your team in 3 years? That's absurd.
Yeah.
Well, let's walk through the first round and we'll answer questions. If you have questions specific to the players we're talking about, submit them. The producers will be paying attention to those, and we'll answer some questions with each player that we walk through. We can start at the top with Joe Burrow. We got that one right, everybody. We knew it was going to take place. By the way, heading into round 2, Jason is currently winning against Mike and I in correct picks. He nailed the Rugs to Las Vegas, which was painful.
He right player, wrong pick.
Right
But
player, right
still,
spot, wrong time. Yeah.
picking the right team in that situation
I mean, he
with
got it
multiple
right.
picks.
Got it right.
But Joe Burrow, Cincinnati, fantasy-wise, you look at the situation, you could do a lot worse than A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, Joe Mixon. There were games last year to start the season that we were kind of looking at Cincinnati, and we knew that they were a bad team, but we were kind of blown away by the passing volume under Zach Taylor, the way they competed against Seattle, the fact that Dalton could go out there and throw the ball that many times. I can't imagine they don't put Burrow in a position where, compared to some other starting quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks like a Dwayne Haskins or Josh Rosen, Burrow should be put in a position to throw the football more than most. And so it's a matter of, will he be able to, is it a Daniel Jones type of rookie season for Joe Burrow? That's the comp for me, because you have mistake-prone games, but you have games that you might have surprise fantasy value from Burrow.
Let me ask you this. Will you be shocked if Burrow does not break the rookie touchdown record?
I won't be shocked because it's an NFL record, and so I would say the odds of him breaking it are.
It seems to get broken like every year now with a rookie. So
sure.
For Burrow, what of his stature, what he just did at LSU with the weapons around him, would it surprise you?
No, I can say I certainly would not be shocked if it happened either.
Okay.
If you're saying how many touchdowns,
so you're just going to ride the fence. Perfect.
Yeah. No, I think he's going to be great for fantasy because of his legs. People don't give him enough because he was so excellent in the pocket, his accuracy, all of that.
But what are we really talking about there? I've heard you say that before, but
I think he's
250 yards on the ground, 300 yards on the ground. I think
he's going to be like a 350 yards on the ground player, and that makes a huge difference. That's like when Alex Smith used to be a really good.
It reminds me of Alex Smith. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so thinking through the A.J. Green, Boyd, Ross, Mixon equation with Burrow a little bit more. I know we didn't get to see a Green last year. We've had lots of debates on him. He's going to make a rookie quarterback much, much better. But do you really project any of those weapons differently with Burrow than you did with Dalton, or about the same? Just give our audience a little bit of a perspective there on how you view Boyd, who's been very consistent for a couple of years, Mixon, who came on late. How do you view the Bengals' weapons?
When it comes to the wide receivers, the quarterback touchdown record we're talking about for rookies, the reason that's talked about is because it's low. Rookies don't usually come out and throw for a ton of touchdowns. If you had to tell me Andy Dalton plays a whole year or Joe Burrow plays a whole year, I would probably have the stats be nearly identical, but the touchdowns, I would actually side with Andy Dalton. He's a veteran who's, played a long time. He's had big touchdown seasons. So
build-in rapport he has the rapport with Green already existing.
Exactly.
So, okay, very interesting. Somebody asked, does Burrow's failure at Ohio State concern you for his NFL production? The answer is no.
He was too young.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray was a transfer. Joe Burrow is a transfer. These guys, it happens all the time. Jalen Hurts was a transfer.
And not only that, but he was transferred. It wasn't like he transferred behind a no-name guy. It was, the guy he transferred from got drafted in the first round of the NFL draft next year.
Yeah, we got a question from Antoine Brooks. You want to throw that up there? How much stock do you put in on Burrow in a 12-team dynasty superflex with passing touchdowns worth 6 points?
Superflex dynasty, I think he's a great option because I do think he's going to have a phenomenal career after this year, especially for fantasy with the ability of his legs and the touchdown passing in college. So I would say I'd probably be drafting Burrow top 15 for sure. I don't know. Usually in a dynasty league, someone's going to be like in a startup, someone's going to get really hot and bothered for a prospect like this and take them higher than I would.
Do you mean top 15 quarterback?
That's what I assumed.
Top 15 quarterback in a startup. Yes.
Yeah, you freaked me out for a sec.
And as far as a rookie draft, I would say he's right there in the top 3 in a superflex.
How do you view A.J. Green in a dynasty league? Every year we talk about dynasty leagues and the fact that one of the strategies people need to remember is that you don't simply spend all of your investment on young, unproven, the rookie picks, the young guys that haven't done it. You look at players that are older. A.J. Green's the same age as Julio Jones. He's got a young quarterback. Obviously Julio's got Matt Ryan. How do you look at Green from a value perspective?
I am concerned about AJ Green. I mean, it's been a very long time. We talk about how Odell Beckham has been disappointing the last couple of years. Well, Odell Beckham is still 27. Like AJ Green is hitting an age threshold that some players, Julio Jones, and like some players, they can play under the 30s. Like it just, their genetics hold up. AJ Green's body looks like it is not. So if I had AJ Green in a dynasty league, I would be very happy to sell him. If I'm just going to get garbage, like someone's like, "Oh, I'll give you a second round pick for AJ Green," then I'll hold on to him and see what I can get. But my preferred route of action for Green is to trade him away.
All right, you guys want to move on? Talk about Miami. Let's talk about the pick. Tua ends up in Miami. Mike and I, we flip-flop these. I thought maybe Herbert would go to Miami and Los Angeles would end up with Tua. Went the other direction. Let's combine them. And then if you guys out there, if you have questions about the Dolphins, the Chargers, Tua, Herbert, the weapons, fantasy questions, submit them now. Brooks, Jeremy, they'll pay attention, get some questions up on the board for us. But both of these players, expectations, like if you had to do an over-under on games started for them. Let's go around the table here and decide how many games you would expect Tua and Herbert to play in year one.
I would expect Tua to get the start halfway through the season. You've got him coming back from a major injury already. I know he's got a clean bill of health for complete football operations, but you've still got Ryan Fitzpatrick there. I think he will get the start. And then when it comes to Justin Herbert, I'm going to guess probably 3 or 4 games with him before he gets in. Both of these guys were drafted high enough to start week 1, but I think I don't have as much.
For Herbert, you said 12?
I would say probably 12 for Herbert, 9 or 10 for Tua.
And unfortunately, for the sake of discussion, Tua my number was 8 and Herbert was 12. So Jason and I have a similar thought process for those guys.
Okay, I think Tua will take some time. I think Tua has the luxury of potentially being a redshirt season. So Tua, I would say 6 games. That's about where I think he'll play. So from a year one redraft potential value, it's not there for me. Herbert, on the other hand, I think it's 16 games. I think Herbert wins the job out of camp. I think it's an opportunity for him to. He has some weapons there. Whether it goes well or not, I just don't know if I expect Tyrod to win that job away from Herbert. And it's going to be a very tough season, I think, if he wins that job starting off, because you're not going to go back to Tyrod, right?
Right.
You're not going to go backwards if you make the decision to go rookie quarterback.
No, outside of injury, you're going to let your guy fail and get the experience once you've decided to put him out there.
I think Herbert, I don't think he's going to blow the doors open for fantasy purposes. I think he can have an okay rookie season. Like of these guys, like Justin's in a better spot than Tua when he's surrounded by weapons. Wait, what are we laughing at?
Andy's got the coolest cup.
Is that a LaCroix cup?
This is a very green
LaCroix.
My goodness, a very green can. LaCroix. Getting
watch
green
when he drinks it. It goes right through him. You can see through him.
When you held it up, it legit looked like you had some fancy glass.
Yeah.
That was a LaCroix glass. Wow. But anyway, so I think Herbert is in a better overall situation, in my opinion, with the weapons that he's surrounded with. He's already got a pretty solid offensive line.
Very friendly pass-catching running back.
In front of him. He's got Austin Eckler, to me, pretty big winner so far in this draft. I know he was already going to be the starting guy with the bag that they gave him, but the Chargers made some moves. They made some trades, and they are not picking now until the 4th round. So if you were like, do they bring in Jonathan Taylor? Do they bring in one of these other
not going to happen
big name running backs? It's impossible. Now it can't happen. They can still draft running back, but Austin Eckler is like super safe. Herbert tied with Tua for the lowest average depth of target coming out of this draft class for a quarterback. Like Eckler was a winner to me of this draft. But anyways, my point was I think Herbert can be actually okay moving forward for the Chargers.
We have some questions coming in about these two guys. Neil has a question. You want to throw that up there? Brooks.
Neil.
Okay. Are you scared about Tua's injuries?
Concerned, sure.
Yeah, it's
He's
not
had a
just
lot
one.
of them.
I mean, spiral surgeries to both ankles before the
correct.
hip injury.
Yeah, broken fingers. I mean, it's just so many injuries, and they're not all, repeatable injuries. But when a guy is constantly getting hurt, you have to, we've just seen that in the NFL where some guys aren't.
No,
aren't
Cliff,
made to
I'm
take
good.
that-
I'm good, Cliff. No, I don't need nothing.
Aren't made to take that.
I
contact.
already have an invisible LaCroix. No, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, no, hey, when Cliff calls, you got to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a little worried that he would definitely be seeing higher risk. I mean, these guys are just dynasty assets, though, because for redraft, I don't think we're concerned with either quarterback. There's no chance I would take Tua or Herbert in any redraft. I don't care how deep.
All right, Mike, this one's for you. It comes in from Mando Cam.
Mando.
Switch over there. Is Davante Parker a top 15 with Tua at quarterback? It's a hard no for me.
Yeah, I'll take the historical trend, and I will say no. Where the rookie passers, the record, the touchdown record, I believe, is 27. The one we're alluding to, and you don't get a ton of passing yardage, generally speaking. Now, if are we projecting for like next year, where it seemed like Tua should be the starter for the entire season? Maybe if Davante Parker comes out and shows he wasn't a one-year wonder, but speaking just to this year, no, Davante Parker will be taking he'll be taking a hit in the season rankings.
And then one more from Matt. He says, do you take Davante Parker or Keenan Allen first? Which of those two players that are going to have the rookie risk?
I would personally take Davante Parker for sure because I think you'll get more games with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And if both quarterbacks were playing 16, okay, you could maybe talk me into either guy. But I think while Fitzpatrick is out there slinging the ball, I'm going to like Davante Parker. He was a wide receiver 1 with Fitzpatrick last year. So I would, and Andy, you brought up, you think that Tua has the luxury to even have a redshirt year where he's just sitting this year, a la Pat Mahomes' rookie season. That'd be awesome for everyone, for Tua, for Fitzpatrick,
sure,
for Davante Parker. But that's the reason I would take Parker over Keenan.
His injuries would go down without playing, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be
likely. Still practice. Yeah.
All right, let's go to
I don't know. Jason's proven that you can get injured while sitting.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
If he's anything like me.
I would say the physique differences are slight.
Slight.
Barely.
I get that comp a lot.
You're left-handed.
I am
You're
left-handed.
He's left-handed.
Right. There you go. So many things.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many times on the street people shouting out, Tua? Is that you?
No, dude.
Oh, Jason Moore, you got me again.
All right. At number 12, last night, the Las Vegas Raiders. End up, the Las Vegas Rugsers.
It's too bad they didn't take Rager.
That would have been good. Rager to the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, not opportunistic there. I thought, you go Ruggs here, you could have gone Judy here and then picked up his teammate at 19 and just doubled up. But Henry Ruggs III ends up being the pick, the first wide receiver off the board. Jason had it right with the Raiders. I thought he'd go to the Eagles, Mike the Broncos. Ruggs, the speedster, not as heralded as a route runner or anything like that, more of a take the top off type of player.
The ghost of Al Davis still looms large for the Raiders.
That's right.
Speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Speed. But fantasy owners, rookie draft hopefuls, were looking for potentially better fits than this. I can't imagine. Now, let me ask you this question. With Henry Ruggs, I can't imagine that he's not the 4th most receptions on the team. Okay? So that's Waller in contention, Hunter Renfrow, who I think will easily outpace him in receptions.
In receptions, sure. Okay.
Just total receptions. And then you have to decide, is Henry Ruggs going to have more receptions than either Tyrell Williams or Josh Jacobs?
Or Jalen Richard.
Well, yeah, sure. So
I would say
hard
yes.
to look at.
Yeah, Tyler so Ruggs to me actually landed of the wide receivers we have, he to me, has the clearest path to immediately being the alpha wide receiver on his team. I'm not declaring that because the evaluations for him are all over the place where the production was down. He was the third wide receiver on his team in college. Can he actually be the number one? Raiders clearly think so. They took him as the first wide receiver off the board. But
you think he has a better chance to become the alpha in Las Vegas than Rager does in Philadelphia this year?
Yes, this year I do.
Interesting. I do not.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey is a much stiffer competition than anybody that the Raiders have. But the issue is that that's just not what Ruggs is. Ruggs isn't a one. I don't think they drafted him to be, a 100 target type of player. He's a field stretcher, a burner. I mean, he'll pad him with some screens, but I see this as a Ted Ginn type of role, which is very valuable in the NFL, not as valuable for fantasy. You can college and his skill set.
So we know that all things considered, Derek Carr has been efficient when he goes long. He doesn't go long often.
Sure.
Does this actually help Darren Waller? What is the
everyone knew that the Raiders were going to go out and get a wide receiver. It's just who and how high. Were they going to end up with a CeeDee Lamb or a Jerry Judy? If they had ended up with one of those two guys, that would have been much worse for Waller, I think, than Ruggs, because they would be much more possession volume receivers, and the possession volume game right now, I think, is still Waller's.
It's interesting though. Draft capital means a lot, and when you invest the 12th overall pick on a wide receiver, and you're hooting and hollering the way that John Gruden was, you're going to try to find a way to use that weapon. That's for sure. Jerry Judy, we'll talk about him. Want to remind anybody who's just joining us on the live stream, head over to ultimatedraftkit.com. We're doing a very special giveaway this weekend. The Ultimate Draft Kit is the numero uno. I mean, ask Supermom down there. Ask Supermom.
Supermom approved.
Yeah. There must be some green on that mug too, Jason, because it's some of your green screens coming through as well.
Ooh, that's trippy.
UltimateDraftKit.com. We're giving away a listener league spot, a video draft review, some signed gear. Only this through this weekend can you enter to win. Anybody who's bought the UDK prior, you're going to be entered to win. It's just a good time to grab it at the lowest possible price. We're doing a special promotion, so I want to remind everybody.
Well, it's the lowest possible price, but it's also the best time because we're about to, even though the whole thing doesn't come out until June 1st, rookie rankings, dynasty rankings, those are going to be up this week, so you'll have access to that, and you're still getting it at the pre-sale price.
All right, let's talk about Jerry Judy. The Denver Broncos, they end up with Judy. I thought they did. Mike and I think we both had the Broncos picking up a wide receiver in the first round. We just got the wrong one.
Yeah.
But Judy ends up in Denver, across from Cortland Sutton, who I still view personally as the one. I think Sutton is the one. He's got some rapport already with Drew Lock. What do you think of the fit? Because I can't really get myself excited for the unproven output of Drew Lock quite yet to support a second player. And you got a good tight end there too.
Yeah, the quarterback is a huge question, right? Like Drew Lock is a huge beneficiary. If you've got two great wide receivers, a really solid tight end, they're setting things up for Drew Lock to succeed. And I had him as a first-round talent last year, but he's not otherworldly. I don't look at this as the best landing spot for Jerry Judy. In fact, most of these wide receivers, I was pretty disappointed. Where it's like, oh man, like all these guys that I just really loved. There's really only one wide receiver that I absolutely love their landing spot. But what's funny here is that it seems like Elway's trying to rebuild. I mean, if you look at the comps for Cortland Sutton, it was Demaryius Thomas, and so they drafted his replacement. And Jerry Judy, you could see a lot of Emmanuel Sanders in him. So it's kind of like they're just trying to replace that great wide receiving core they had with those two guys, and that's how I see them fitting. I mean, I see them being the Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas role. Whether or not Drew Lock can, pass enough and have enough statistics to get there.
I'm sorry. These comments are flying in, and it seems like the mustache requires some comps every 5 seconds. I got a slimmer Richard Jewell.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's a new one. I've gotten worse. What is Jerry?
Yes,
Alan wants to know, what is Jerry Judy's floor and ceiling?
Oh,
then?
man.
Well, I mean, the ceiling is still for him to establish himself as a one in the NFL. on that roster. So I don't think Sutton is not, you're not walking into Antonio Brown's domain. You're not walking into Julio Jones's domain. Sutton's a very talented player that I expect to still be the one. But, the floor is that you don't have what you think you have in Drew Lock, and you've got the number 2 or 3 weapon on a bad offense that wins 3 or 4 games. And I know Broncos fans out there can't even fathom the possibility that they don't go 12-4. But it is possible you don't go 12-4 this year with Drew Lock.
Broncos fans are eternally optimistic about Drew Lock. And I liked Drew Lock. I think he's got talent, but I am not as optimistic as those that live in Denver.
Drew Lock, Justin Herbert. Do you really do you know how to carve out success there? Because I think that you have just as good of a season from Herbert starting 16 than you would Drew Lock. Not this year.
Rookie year to rookie year, I would agree. I think they're a very good comp of one another. I see a lot of but I think Drew Lock is more accurate in intermediate and deep throws than I saw from Justin Herbert. I know Herbert has padded his stats a lot, if you just look at accuracy percentage, because he had so many screens and dump-offs in that Oregon offense. But I would take Lock over Herbert personally.
Does Judy throw some cold water on the Noah Fant breakout?
Not to me. I think it helps. I mean, yeah. I'm a Herbert over Lock guy myself. I mean, just Lock he's got to do a lot more in the NFL to show me that he can overcome the accuracy issues from college and where his draft capital ended up being.
I would say the draft difference between Drew Lock and Herbert, I'm big, because Herbert was a top 10 pick and Drew Lock fell into the second. That was, to me, more just that's how the cards fell for teams that needed a quarterback. Like if the Chargers weren't there and had just lost Phillip Rivers, I think Herbert would have plummeted.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's interesting. Both of these players have very similar situations in that you've got a really good receiving core. I mean, it's a little younger in Denver, but both have really good receiving core. And I don't want to be too negative on the Broncos in the sense that they picked up Melvin Gordon. If Drew Lock takes that step forward, this could be a decent offense this year.
Yeah.
Oh, they have great weapons.
Question of whether or not he does.
Yeah, great weapons. All right, let's talk about maybe the biggest surprise of the first round. For fantasy owners,
we're back to love?
No. For fantasy football purposes, it's CeeDee Lamb, Mike.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb ending up in Dallas at 17. It seemed like a big revenge move of sorts.
Dub fingers.
Yeah, take that, Eagles.
We were talking with lots of Eagles fans at that time who were just beckoning the franchise to move up and grab CeeDee Lamb when he dropped this far. Instead, the Cowboys end up taking CeeDee Lamb at 17. And it was a shocker to me. It was a bit of a punch to a special place. If you're a Michael Gallup dynasty owner, because you got a $100 million man in Amari Cooper, and you've got CeeDee Lamb, a first-round pick now, and not just a first-round pick, a talented wide receiver that I had graded as my number one on the board. So good for Dak Prescott. Not great for Gallup.
Not great for Gallup for sure, because now there's a guy who's going to be playing for that second role, but so good for Dak. I mean, Dak is we just had a couple weeks ago our early quarterback rankings, and now you're talking about that number 3 spot at quarterback. Dak is right there. I mean, if
is he a top 5? Mike McDonald asked the question. Is he a top 5 quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he is for sure.
He's 3, 4, or 5. I mean, he's been a quarterback 1 forever, and now he adds what all three of us had as our number 1 wide receiver prospect, and not only a number 1 wide receiver prospect, but a guy that can come in year 1 and make huge differences on the field. Because if you look at what CeeDee Lamb was unbelievable at, it was a highlight reel after highlight reel, was these yards after catch where he's flying through traffic in a way that just doesn't make sense. Seems like everybody should be able to get to him. Nobody ever gets to him. And Now you've got Amari Cooper as your one. You've got Gallup probably who's demanding more coverage than CeeDee Lamb in his rookie year. And every time CeeDee Lamb catches the ball against the third cornerback out there, that dude's just not going to be able to tackle him, So that's extra yards after the catch. And while I don't know that there'll be enough volume to make CeeDee rookie year wonderful, goodness, it all goes back to Dak. And so Dak is a huge winner. I would say he's even a bigger winner than Aaron Rodgers was yesterday.
And I'll say the long-term output, though, for CeeDee Lamb, you do have to remember the Amari Cooper contract. It's basically, it can be a 2-year deal if they want it to be. The guaranteed money will go away. His dead cap will turn into just $6 million. Like, they can get out in 2 years if that's the route that they want to. And the bigger personal note is
that's 2 years of letters from Mike Wright written daily to the franchise, encouraging them to get out.
I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just laying out the entire landscape. And if you want to talk about tears from Mike Wright, look, this really puts a damper on my Blake Jarwin breakout.
Oh, you
sure,
poor
Mike.
thing.
You've always got your special players each and every year.
Here's the thing. It wasn't supposed to be Blake Jarwin. It was supposed to be Dallas Goedert. If you remember back, everyone was waiting for Dallas.
This is the payback move.
This is the payback. It was like the Eagles gave dumb fingers at the Cowboys and said, we're taking your guy.
Didn't they trade up to, I feel like they traded up just to get right in front of Dallas, and they took Goddard.
I think that's right. And so, yeah, right back at you, Eagles.
All right, here's a question from Caleb. Does the move Amari Cooper down in redraft leagues for this year?
I
don't
maybe a
think
spot
so.
or two, but not. This isn't like a teardrop or anything.
Yeah, I think Andy answered it earlier. It hurts Michael Gallup more than it hurts Cooper, because I think Cooper is still going to be the first read, still going to be the one. And if anything, it's going to be more difficult for defenses to focus on Cooper now. That second read is going to be split a little bit.
People want to know, does it affect Zeke? No, I think Zeke is fine.
Zeke was.
It affects Zeke in the fact that maybe they get more opportunities on the goal line if their offense is better. I mean, that's it.
Zeke
right?
put up his numbers last year. Meanwhile, Dak threw for almost 5,000 yards and was the QB2. He's good.
Dak is going to be great.
Yeah.
Whether he gets a contract before the season, we'll find out. But.
You better figure that out, Dallas.
All right. The Philadelphia Eagles end up with, is how it feels, but they end up with Jalen Reagor.
I was so close, man.
And I started, my initial thought, like a lot of people were asking this question. I know Graham Barfield put it out there. Different people ranking the rookie wide receivers from the first round. And my initial thought was, well, it kind of seems like Reagor is in the best position.
It
of the
feels
rookies.
like it.
But I just started fading on that because Jeffrey is there and not traded. And Ertz is a volume guy, and Goddard is emerging, and you have Deshaun Jackson returning. So I am not sure that, and this was all redraft perspective, right? So from a redraft perspective, looking at year one impact, I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he is the number one rookie wideout this year.
I'm still
starting
also
to
have
lean a different direction.
And that's completely counting Arcega-Whiteside out, who was a second-round pick last year. Still has high draft capital, didn't really do anything. Maybe they're already considering him a bust. But there's more competition in Philly than it felt like when they made the draft pick immediately. But of the guys who have all the wide receivers who went in the first round, at least he has a path and a good quarterback. I mean, like we've talked about, for CeeDee Lamb, that's all up to Gallup. It's all up to how good can Michael Gallup be? Can he force the hand of Dallas so that he maintains the wide receiver 2 position, or that 1A 1B with Amari Cooper? So that I think that's what people are getting excited about Reagor for it compared to the other guys.
Yeah, Jeffrey has not been healthy, but
sure.
Jason, you love Jalen Reagor.
I love Jalen Reagor. I said that before the draft. He was basically tied for Ruggs as my third wide receiver prospect. So behind Jerry Judy and behind CeeDee Lamb, Reagor was the guy that I absolutely loved. We've got a friend who's a huge scouting guy. He complains about the drops, but he had terrible quarterback play. It had the worst accuracy percentage of a quarterback of catchable balls of any prospect out there. And I saw someone in Rager who was feisty, so fast. I comped him to Steve Smith, which is a comp I don't think I've ever given out before. The fact that he's on a team that is looking to get younger with Carson Wentz there, and the only alpha is older, often injured, and
he'll be gone, and Alshon will be gone soon.
Yeah, I'm in love with Rager.
Can I give you 3 nicknames? We got Rhaegar Targaryen.
I love it.
We've got Rager Bombs.
What am I missing?
Like
Jaeger bombs, man.
Oh, okay.
Rager bombs.
Rager Bombs.
But you have to say it, Rager bombs.
Or you've got like
Rager bombs.
You got Rager Nation.
Well,
no, it's
he
too
went to
close
the wrong
Raider.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he went to
needed
Vegas,
to really go to Vegas.
I'm all in on Rager bombs. Rager bombs.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yes. I'm in.
That goes to
I would go Targaryen.
Connor Spencer. Just threw that out there.
Ooh,
We've also
Connor
got-
Spencer.
Every time I hear it, I do think Rhaegar Targaryen. All right, let's talk about Minnesota and what they did with Justin Jefferson at pick 22. This was the player they got in place of Stephon Diggs.
Unbelievable gift.
It was also a player that a lot of Eagles fans wish they had gone with. And so you lose Diggs. Jefferson comes in. I'm starting to find myself in a place where I believe Jefferson may have some of the most redraft impact of this rookie class in year one. And so, Jason, I know you and I were talking a little bit about this. I dug into the numbers a little bit. People want to know because Jefferson was great at LSU when he was moving around, playing from the slot, doing a lot of those things. And Thielen's best graded seasons, his best performances have been from that slot position. He played in 2018, 57% of the snaps was in the slot, and that's when he graded out and had that monstrous fantasy season. But, Mike, you and I were talking about this before. Last year, it shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Thielen, in the games he played, I know he was hurt, but in the games he played, he was only in the slot 28% of the time. So, and then you also looked up, you said they were in two wide receiver sets.
Yeah,
What
very
was it,
minimal.
like-
It was under 20%. It was a minimal amount.
So you've got Tajay Sharp, who I think will have a lot of opportunity there. But you have Jefferson coming in as their first-round pick, and you have the absence of Stephon Diggs. So where do you guys sit with Justin Jefferson? I think it's a perfect fit in Minnesota.
It is a perfect fit. He comes in. I said this on our prospect show that I think he is basically. We know what he is.
Sammy Rhaegar.
That's pretty good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Go on.
I see him
55-yard touchdown from Sammy Rhaegar.
Can he wear
that'd be-
55? Is that allowed?
Oh, we'll make
have
it
to
happen.
look at the rules.
Right.
No, but he comes in basically as a very known commodity. He had so much volume on the LSU team. We got to see so much, and to me, he's an unbelievably good two.
I think he's yes. Okay,
and
that's
so
very fair. But I think he's a really high end too. I think
Yes.
he's great.
And so that's perfect to go to a team where it's basically Thielen and him now replacing Diggs. You had a team that was used to just kind of two alphas, 1A, 1B, where you kind of hesitate to call either a true one. And then he just comes into that role that is perfect for him. So is he going to be in the slot? Is he going to be outside? I think they'll mix it up with both him and Thielen. But it's just a really nice opportunity. You're talking about a vacated role that is just perfect for Jefferson to step into. So I agree. Redraft-wise, he very well could be the highest of the rookies. I mean, we'll stat out all the teams here pretty soon in the Ultimate Draft Kit. Those rankings, the full NFL rankings will be ready when we launch. The dynasty and rookies will be out this week, but he could be my number one for redraft.
Yeah, so be sure to check out, like Jason said, the Ultimate Draft Kit right now. If you're just joining the stream, we're giving away some free stuff, ultimatedraftkit.com before Sunday. Check it out. It's going to be great. Taylor wants to know Justin Jefferson, 800 total or 800 yards over under.
Ooh.
I think that what makes him an interesting weapon in the slot is how big he is and the fact that he could be a weapon in the red zone. 800 yards is...
I think it's a good line.
I think it's a good line, and I guess I think I'd put him right around there.
Gotta be
So
50
I'll take
yards
I'll
a
take
game.
the over. I think 800.
Yeah, I'll take the over
I'll take
as well.
850 yards to 1,000 yards as a rookie.
Ooh.
So
Okay. Yeah, I would take the 800 to 900 range. I think he can hit it.
over under.
8 to 850 range, please.
Yeah, that's what you want, Jay. Cool. All right. Well, anything else from the Justin Jefferson side of things?
Nope.
I think it ultimately, we talked about Diggs leaving, what it meant to Thielen. More weapons is only better for Adam Thielen. He needs another weapon out there. Kirk Cousins needs another option. So I don't think it really hurts. You guys don't think it hurts Thielen, do you?
Nope.
No.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn to the 49ers, who traded down and then traded up.
Look, man, that was very strange to me for San Francisco. Like the flip-flop with Tampa Bay, that's a slam dunk. If you're not going to take that tackle right there, that was a sensational move. But then to move up from 31 to 25, where you look at the teams in front of you, it just didn't seem like any of them were actually going to take a wide receiver, let alone that wide receiver. So it was puzzling to me. I mean, you go out and you get your guy, I guess, but it is a little head scratching to me.
Yeah, so they end up with Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State. Arizona State ends up with a first-round wide receiver drafted in back-to-back drafts with N'Keal Harry last year. Ayuk comes in, and there's part of you that says, well, we were talking on the podcast. CeeDee Lamb was mocked to San Francisco in a mock draft. And I brought up, Jimmy Garoppolo is not that guy, or at least has not been that guy yet, that can drive the ball down the field. Lowest percentage of 20-plus yard passes in the NFL, lowest depth of target in the NFL of all quarterbacks, 6.5 yards. That's great for the Deebo Samuels of the world, and it's great for the Brandon Ayuks of the world. Ayuk is another player that can take a screen pass to the house. He does what Deebo does. He is a man. So for a fit on that team, it's interesting. Mike, you were laughing.
I'm going to test something out here.
Oh, goodness. Is this another nickname?
Yeah, of course.
Is that all? Is that all the comments are? Is like nicknames?
No,
for the players
this was
we're
not a
talking
comment.
about?
This wasn't a comment. This was just when you said it. It's Brandon Ayukin.
I get it. I get
Okay.
it. Yeah,
All right.
no, it's good for you.
We'll sit on it. We'll sit on it.
Let it simmer.
It's
Let it thicken.
It's not bad. It's not
fun
bad.
to say.
I think that it won't hit as many people as you want it to hit, but the ones it hits, it will hit well. Does that make sense?
And the problem is it's not a nickname you can use all the time. It's got to be a nickname only used after a really great game. When he
Okay.
when he really
all the
performed.
nicknames are flowing in now. We've got
That's fun.
someone's trying to do Brandon Kayak. No, no, that's not good.
I'm down here for a lovely ride in the stream.
Oh, we got Clyde Edwards. Hell yeah.
We got. Are you kidding me?
Oh
Look,
my god.
yeah, honestly, the potential for Monday Punday with Ayuk is it is off the charts.
Yeah, that's not. Yes, keep them coming as we talk about these players.
Ayukin.
Oh my gosh. But for the team, it's good. But it was a weird first round for the 49ers. And I know that 49ers fans won't take my comments well with this hat on. But it's odd to me. You traded. Mike, you lost to Forrest Buckner.
Mm-hmm.
You get the first round pick. You spend it on his replacement. So you imagine in year one, that's a player that's probably not as much of an impact player. Then you trade down. You don't go with Lamb. You don't go with one of the higher profiling, wide receivers. I think Ayuk is a very good wide receiver. He also he was in a situation where production was not going to be there for him in that offense in Arizona State with Herm Edwards. They were this was an Eno Benjamin run the football team. And so there could be a lot of unseen talent for Ayuk. I know that they, like everybody in this draft, they all think that they drafted the best player. And it's the top guy on their board. No matter where they are, it's the number one guy on their board.
Shanahan did say that Ayuk was their top graded wide receiver over CeeDee Lamb. And look, that could just be him puffing up his rookie.
Sure it was.
But they were on the board at 14. If they wanted CeeDee Lamb, they could have drafted him, and they went with the
even after the
defensive
trade down, right? Yeah, I mean, they could have taken him.
Yeah, and they passed.
We've got pretty positive Ayukin feedback, Mike.
My people.
We have a surprisingly too large amount of people who are really into Brandon Kayak for no reason. It's good because it's bad.
Goodness.
Oh,
Look
very
at
nice,
that.
Mike.
Good thing you don't have a
Beautiful.
green screen.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we've talked about him. Jordan Love at 26. We opened the show talking about the Jordan Love pick.
We should talk about it some more. Just to
Is he converting to wide receiver?
What are they doing?
It's being too cute. It's being too cute. And maybe
But they were
see
so
something.
excited on the video.
They were so jacked up. They got their guy. And the rumors afterwards we're talking about the Packers were aggressively pre-draft looking to trade up as high as into the middle of the first. They want and that was for Love. So they came into this draft saying our team, the most important need is Jordan Love. That is insane to me. But I mean, what does it say as far as like, are they trying to say that we need this as the replacement and we need to light a fire under Aaron Rodgers? Like, is there any motivation here, or is this them saying, look, I think Rodgers is losing a step. We need to be prepared, and they don't have the belief or faith in Rodgers.
You would have to be so inebriated to say that Aaron Rodgers is losing a step or not one of the best quarterbacks in football. I mean, it's bewildering at a 13-win season that you were competing for a Super Bowl berth that you would make this pick. I don't understand it. I understand taking a Kirk Cousins in a later round so that you can trade that player if you need to. You know, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, that wasn't a great situation for.
And they need a backup.
Yeah, I mean they do.
And they traded up to
But it's
get
just
him
it's a first round.
ahead of teams that all the
Yes.
teams that needed him, there's no chance they would draft him. So they were literally just afraid that someone else loved him as much as they did, that they were going to package a trade together to go get him, which, I mean, that it was so surprising. And I think the hardest part is that none of the three of us look at Jordan Love as a great sure thing prospect, right? It's not like
No, not at all.
You don't even.
Yeah, he makes mistakes. He's a project type of player. There's not a guarantee there. And I'm not. You ask me. People ask all the time, "What's your favorite team outside of Arizona or the Cardinals?" The Packers are one of my favorite teams in football. That organization, that fan base. We have family out there. I love the Packers. So you're not getting Packers hate from me. I promise you that. But the Packers fans don't like this pick. Okay,
Look, man.
The Packers fans do not like this pick.
When there's a quarterback from the Mountain West that threw 20 touchdowns and 17 interceptions, and he's there at the back of the first, and you got Aaron Rodgers, man, you got to make that move. You got to make that move.
You got to trade up and get him. It just makes so much sense.
Cliff, what do you think? No, he hates it. Cliff hates it. It's just
Here's who loves it. Jordan Love. That's it.
Maybe I mean he loves it right
you talking
now.
about J-Lo?
J-Lo.
Oh, okay. J-Lo.
But-
Not
but
J-Love. J-Lo, Mike.
J-Lo.
Yeah, that it's a little
It's
weird.
kind of taken already.
Yeah, well, a lot of our nicknames are.
Yeah.
To be fair, but he loves it right now. But will he love that when he gets into camp with Aaron Rodgers and that sourpuss is just looking him? He's gonna stare into Jordan Love's soul and
Did
burn
either of you guys listen to the Sports Wars podcast that went through the Favre and Rodgers?
Oh man,
I can't
tussle?
believe it was good.
I
It
need to
was-
get this one up there.
It was
Sorry.
great listening, but there was not love there. It was not. Those two guys did not like each other, and I think Jordan Love's going to be disappointed when he comes in.
Look, and Jordan Love could be good. It's a head scratching move at the moment.
We got to get to. I know we're going to talk about Clyde Edwards, Zelaire forever. Can we get this next question up on the board? We're taking some from the Foot Clan here on our draft day or draft reaction live stream ahead of round 2. The Fantasy Footballers podcast. All right, do we have this one up? Is anybody out there going to put this one up? It's from.
It's a great question.
The
It's from
producers
Twitch.
are on a break. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Okay, this is an important question. Someone came into the live stream. They said, anyone else disappointed that Jason isn't fatter?
Yeah, I mean, I'm letting people down here. I
You
talk
have
about my
said
weight.
so much on the podcast
here's the
about
thing.
how much you've consumed, which I've witnessed some of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, a very nice but yet groomed beard hides so much face fat. And here's something that is
Very strategic camera angle.
yeah, something incredible about me is that I carry 90% of my weight in my belly. So that's it. My arms aren't fat. My legs aren't fat. My shoulders are nice. My belly's gigantic. It's just I'm carrying twins, and I'm 34 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see how soon they
I'm
come.
overdue by about 6 months.
I'm looking forward to getting them out of here. Oh, but I do have an announcement on that note.
Oh,
And I've talked about it. I've talked about it all week. All week. May 3rd.
Oh, did you order yourself a little?
No, I haven't. I haven't ordered myself the exercise bike because they all take too long to get in.
Wait,
May
what is
3rd,
this announcement then?
This announcement is May 3rd. I am starting full health mode.
oh, let's go, bro.
I'm going and
That's
get it.
That's right after your
after my birthday's May 2nd. So I'm
38.
I'm gonna pack on the pounds. Yes.
Well, you
And
got to
so-
bulk up so you can cut.
Exactly. Got to put on mass.
Put on mass.
as Mac would say. Put on mass, and
Good
then
for you.
May 3rd. So everybody out there, Foot Clan, you want to join me in healthy living and exercising? You can start that with me on May 3rd. In the meantime, let's have some fun and some cake.
Chandler says I clean shaved for the first time in 8 years a couple weeks ago, and I can confirm the beard was hiding a lot of chins.
Yeah, when I shaved my face last Halloween for Jeff Fisher because I had to rock the mustache, and my wife said I'm not allowed to do that no more because I look like a human thumb.
Does that mean your baby's due on May 3rd?
Yeah, I hope
Sure.
so. It'll drop a lot of weight real quick.
Fat is a lifestyle, not a look.
Thank you. That is
Says-
well
Says
said.
Prado.
Prados.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Genius.
Here's what we're going to do on the live stream, by the way. I'm going to remind you to head to ultimatedraftkit.com. If you don't have the draft kit yet, head over there. We want you in the listener league, and we're going to pick one lucky UDK pre-order person to win a listener league spot.
Whoa.
Pre-order pal. But we're going to talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're going to answer your questions. We'll preview some round 2, and then we'll wrap this live stream up. But ultimatedraftkit.com. Jason, you were going to say something else.
Yeah, I was, because I see a comment here from Brent Becker,
Uh-oh.
and I hope
Don't
that
fight
this
the
is true.
commenters.
My wife is going to be induced for our actual twins on May 3rd.
Oh, congratulations.
We need like a clap track.
We can just clap. It's
Yeah, but I want applause and
All right.
ruckus. You know, we can't really build that.
I
fair.
don't have the drops. So I couldn't even
Congratulations,
give you.
Brent.
Mike, I'm going to need you to help me out here in a second.
yes.
With
I'm ready to set
With
this
the
stage.
32nd pick in the NFL draft, 55 receptions in his senior season.
Oh man.
That's where you got to give me that 55.
55.
The Kansas City Chiefs selected the number 1 running back off the board. They had their pick of the litter. They had their pick of the litter. Andy Reid, offensive genius.
Ladies
Pat
and
Mahomes.
gentlemen, if you're out there in your dynasty drafts, you got that 101. You've been hearing all about this draft class for years, touting up all these players. And yes, a bunch of excellent wide receivers went off the board. But I have the 101, and I'm watching this happen going, man, I don't know that my decision has been made easier at all. Like, Ruggs was the first guy. He's got the draft capital. CeeDee Lamb's my favorite wide receiver. He looks like the wide receiver 3 on his team. And then the heavens, they opened. The sunshine parted the clouds, Jason Moore.
Oh.
And a running back that I loved so much. He went to the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. And
the
my
first.
101 was solved. Yes.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I could weep.
I had a very different experience, Mike.
Why don't you talk about it in a very somber tone?
Okay. I turned to my wife before the pick, and I said, Any number of names can come here. Let's hear Jonathan Taylor. Let's hear DeAndre Swift. Let's have them go in a different direction. Tiffany, I said, Tiff, he just can't say Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because then I will be wrong across the board about everything. I said no, anything but that. And I waited and it paused and I looked.
And then
I commissioned the eyes and I've never watched someone's lips. I've never watched someone's lips more closely. That's genuine. In my entire life, I've never focused on someone's lips to see if Clyde was coming, and it came out of his mouth, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I screamed no, and I think I threw something, and I went upstairs and turned that TV off.
Well, no. You did one other thing. You wrote 2 words in our Slack channel, and they were kill me.
Because here's the truth. He is the 101, and he will be great. So we talk about it all the time about the danger of talking about prospects before the NFL draft or saying who should be drafted where. You got to wait until after the draft. Well, this is the perfect example, right? Because one of the big problems I have with Clyde Edwards-Helaire is I thought things were too easy for him in college. He had Joe Burrow. He had this unbelievable offense and this great offensive line where he got open so much. And, that's just not happening in the NFL. Oh,
wrong.
Wait. Yeah, totally happening in the NFL. He's going to be awesome. And the fact that, talk about the opposite of the Packers, who the GM still hasn't even talked to Aaron Rodgers. Here, you've seen the reports and the conversations where Andy Reid was calling Pat and say, hey, Pat, just instincts.
Hey, who do you want?
Who do you want? First name out of your mouth. He said Clyde. And so they drafted Clyde. And if Pat wants him and they spent their first rounder on him and they need him, look, I've been on record of saying I don't think Damian Williams is a super talented running back. He's an average running back. But I love him for fantasy when he's the guy because that system is awesome. I know I was down on Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming into the draft. I was not, I was down on him more than most. And that's over. I'm all in. I think he's going to be an awesome fantasy option.
The Fresh Prince of Hilaire.
No, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Clyde Edwards.
They're flowing in. They're flowing in. Mike and I both loved the talent of Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a film standout, and to put him on this team. Joe Burrow's famous for that quote, saying, "Who's the best player that you've ever played with?" And he's just like, "It's easy. It's Clyde. He's a 20-year NFL pro." Now, it's Joe Burrow, whatever, but that's how much trust they had in him. And when you look at people want to know, why wasn't it Jonathan Taylor? Well, you've got a Super Bowl championship team. And to me, you can't bring in a fumbler. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire took the ball 430-something times and fumbled once. You got to bring in a smart player that understands pass protection, catching the football. Just be a compliment to this Super Bowl team.
Perfect fit.
He's a perfect fit.
He is a perfect fit for the offense. And the other one, I saw the video where Andy Reid is unbelievably happy about the draft pick. And then it came out that before the draft, Andy Reid and the GM were talking, and he said, he's kind of like Brian Westbrook. And then Andy Reid was like, I think he might be better than Brian Westbrook. Like
I say what I want.
Those types of things, that's what I am looking for. Now, not just draft capital. I want to know how a coach and a GM are talking about a player. So I will try my best to move beyond just the pure elation I am feeling for my 101 pick. So realistically speaking, this year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how are you feeling? And I'll throw it to you first, Jay. Where do you think this is a situation where he takes over immediately? Is Damian Williams completely dead to the world as of this moment? Did he just smoke bomb and he has vanished? How are you seeing the situation shake out? Not long term. I'm saying
just redraft.
This is the first half of the league because we all go rookie crazy. We all go rookie crazy for first round running backs, and sometimes you get Rashad Pennied and Chris Carson holds onto his job. So how are you evaluating the situation?
I think he's going to be great this rookie season. He's not going to just be, he's not going to come in and take everything over, and Damian Williams is kicked to the curb. I see this as a situation very similar to Devin Singletary last year. He came in,
Okay.
Frank Gore was still there. They used him a good chunk in the middle, and then they started using him more and more, and then it became his team. The difference being the Bills' offense and what the output was and the touchdowns you got when he got all that opportunity wasn't there the same way it's going to be with the Chiefs. So I think he has an excellent rookie year. Maybe a little bit slower in the beginning, but he will take over. He'll get the job. And I don't think they drafted him because he's not a fumbler. I think if you had to point to one reason they drafted him, it's the pass catching. They got a guy who went out and just caught 55 passes. You know, we talk about DeAndre Swift being a great receiving back. He was in the low 20s behind Jonathan Taylor in total receptions. They know what they want to do in Kansas City. And that's put the ball in Pat's hands and say, ha ha defense. And they got him a weapon to just often say, ha ha, I got a touchdown. You did it.
So Andy, are you unanimous that as of right now, before the second round, Helaire is the 101 in non-super flex, so just regular rookie redrafts or rookie drafts? I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now that's the case. The second round still has to happen. I mean, that's where I was going to go.
But what could change?
I think that there's a chance that so Jonathan Taylor's in Detroit and DeAndre Swift's in Miami, and you're looking at that situation, and you don't cut Damian Williams. You could make arguments about those players if you wanted to. If you believe in the talent of one of those guys, I think if those two things happen, you're probably still going Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I don't think that there's a guarantee Damian even makes it onto this final roster. I'm going to be honest with you.
Ooh, that'd be great.
But no,
if Damian's out, Helaire will be the starter because Darwin will not be the starting running back. Darrell Williams, if he's there, will not be the starting running back. It's
pretty impossible when I look at the second round to find a situation.
Yeah, DeAndre Washington's there. Like he won't be the starter over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The only scenarios that I could think of are
Jacksonville,
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, or Tampa.
If Jacksonville had Jonathan Taylor and they got rid of Fournette.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
And then it actually becomes a difficult decision. I probably still go Helaire because of the unbelievable fit with Kansas City, but as of right now, I'm like, I wanted it to be one of these wide receivers to be my easy clear 101. They're all going to be very, very good in the NFL, I believe, but I want Helaire on my team.
I feel like what you're doing is you're drafting Lesean McCoy. You're drafting the career of Lesean McCoy,
which was great.
Yeah, I mean, you want that.
Yeah.
Well, and the truth is it would be easier for me to find the narrative if I didn't love Clyde as a player. If it was one of these other running backs that I'm more iffy on, like I am more iffy on Dobbins than I was on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I had him lower than Clyde.
Sure.
So if it was Dobbins in Kansas City, and then a player I love somewhere else, it'd be more difficult. But it's hard to paint the picture. Jacksonville, if you're all alone in the backfield, that could be an argument, Mike. I know you like the opportunity there potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking up and down this board.
Tampa Bay and Jacksonville are the only two places I think.
Yes.
That assuming that the Jacksonville comes with a trade of Leonard Fournette.
Maybe the Rams. I mean, if the Rams had one of those two big guys, would you look at them?
They've talked already about wanting a running back by committee going forward. That
so
they
if
would like.
Jonathan Taylor goes to the LA Rams at 52.
I'd be in, but I still would take Edwards-Helaire at 101.
Does that apply to Superflex? Does that apply to Superflex leagues too? Is he the 101 in a Superflex league to you?
Burrow is absolutely in the conversation there in a Superflex. I think at that point it becomes team dependent. What are your needs?
Yep, I totally agree with that.
I know Mike's needs, and it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Andy Reid loves declares. He saw that last name and said,
Delicious.
Stop
making me hungry, Clyde.
It was a nice punctuation mark to that first round.
Yes, it was
awful punctuation. I was so tilted last night. But it's also
never taken a first round running back ever. 15 years, never taken one.
Awesome for fantasy football. I mean, I love it today. I hated it last night, but I move on quickly. We always talk on the podcast. You got to stay water. You can't just
Clydesdale.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, you got to stay water. You got to, new information. You got to change your opinion.
What about a redraft league? Where are you taking him?
That's where it's going to be so difficult because the rocket ship it'll already be in orbit by the time August hits. The hype levels for Edwards, it all comes down down to Damian Williams. If Damian Williams is cut like you think he might be, then I'm wheels up. I'll figure out how high up he should go. If Damian is still there, I side with Jason that it's going to be a little bit more of a rocky start. It won't be a featured situation at all for Allaire for, I don't know, 30 to 50% of the season. So
the one thing
he's going to end up really, really high, though. It's just naturally going to happen.
One of the things that we have to remember is that Andy Reid, at the drop of a hat, acquired an elderly Lesean McCoy to help supplement that backfield last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
he fixed the problem.
He just was that quick to move on from Damian, is all I'm saying, or leaning on Damian, which you can't do.
I think they're going to move on from Damian in quicker order this season, but I think he'll be on the roster to start. He only cost them about $2 million. He's unrestricted free agent next year. And if you look at how many injuries they had at the position last year, how many running backs they ended up having to use at different times towards the end of the season. Unless they're so strapped for cash that they have to make a move, I think he'll be part of the team.
One thing that I did not mention that I wanted to mention, well, a couple things. First, we walked through the first round in its entirety. So if you were just joining us late to the stream, you want to hear our breakdown, answer questions about any of the first round fantasy options, this will be up on YouTube afterwards. You'll be able to watch everything afterwards. Also, Pristine Auction, I meant to mention this. They have an April giveaway right now, a signed Joe Burrow LSU helmet. These are rare.
Nice.
These are highly valuable, and they're giving 2 of them away for free. Go to Pristine Auction.
One, Andy.
Oh, did you steal one, Mike?
No. They have one.
pristineauction.com/raffle. That's PRISTINE auction.com/raffle. If you want to get in on that giveaway.
But when you sign up, make sure you use the code BALLERS, because if you use the code BALLERS, you'll get $10 off anything even if you're not looking to buy right now, you'll have that in your account for the future.
All right, we're going to end this live stream taking questions for the next 10, 15 minutes or so.
All right, it's almost draft time again.
I'm not even going to know what's coming up on the screen. I'm going to leave that in the hands of Judge Giamatti and Al Borland.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Throw a question up there. I have a quick question. It's a dynasty question if you're still answering. They said, would you trade Preston Williams for the 205?
Yes.
Love you guys and keep up the good work. That's a yes for me as well.
I think it's probably a no for me unless the Dolphins go out and draft another great running back in the rest of this weekend.
Meanwhile, Preston Williams, wide receiver.
Yeah,
What'd I say?
You
said running back.
Oh, I meant wide receiver.
Okay.
Yes.
If they draft a tight end, Jason's out on Preston Williams.
Yes, exactly. No, he was really good last year.
Yeah, no, he certainly was, but I think that at the 205, man, I don't know.
All right, this is a tough one, but would you rather stay at 102 or trade for 105 and 108?
Oh, you can't know yet.
Yeah, right now I think I'm staying at 102 because I think Swift or Taylor's going to end up in a okay situation. So if you need a running back, you're not going to get him at 105. Based on, maybe Cam Akers or somebody else that you like goes to a good situation, but you got to wait for this round.
If you're fully rebuilding, and you have the 105 and 108, you're gonna get probably two of those wide receivers who went in the first round. Doesn't guarantee they're gonna hit, but the odds are pretty good.
You'll know after today. Because if it's not good enough that Jonathan Williams goes to a good spot if he goes in the 4th round, or Jonathan Taylor if he goes in the 4th round or something like that, it's got to be today's draft pick. So if there's not a clear-cut 102 by the end of today, I would definitely be willing to trade for the 105 and 108 because I think all of those wide receivers that are out there, right now are just what order is there's not going to be a consensus order. It's just going to be completely a tier of a bunch of guys you could choose from.
All right. They want a bold, before I get to this Lamb or Judy question, bold round 2 prediction. And so bold round 2 prediction, what do you think it could be? I'm tempted to go with a new home for someone like Jalen Hurts in the second round, and maybe that could be Jacksonville at 42 to compete.
You're stealing my. I'm gonna keep saying it because I said it from before. Jalen Hurts to the Patriots.
Where do they pick in the second round? Do they have a second round pick right now?
They traded back their
They're
first.
pick number 5.
I think we have. I think
they're fifth
must
in,
have
the,
wrong,
in the second round.
The wrong order in front of me then. So, okay, all right. Do you have a bold prediction?
I just want
Mike?
one team to give them a shot.
Well, they will. I mean, there will be a team that gives them a shot.
Well, but a shot at being the franchise guy, not like, oh, he was drafted in the 4th and he's a backup.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Lamar Jackson was the 5th quarterback taken, but when they took him, they built the team around him. That, you know what I mean?
Sure. First rounder. Just barely. Green Bay, are they going to go with a kicker next?
I don't see how that helps Jordan Love, and right now that's their focus.
It's actually my bold prediction is that Jalen Hurts will be on the Green Bay Packers by the end of today.
Oh my gosh!
Traded up to get him. They just have to find Aaron Rodgers' replacement. It's their number one
priority
goal.
Lamb or Judy in a dynasty? Pick it right now.
Honestly, I'm still going to stick with Lamb.
I'm going to stick with Lamb. If
I am as well. I'll take Dak.
Yep.
That's what it is. I'll take Dak.
All right. Best wide receiver fit for the Colts of the remaining wideouts. You got Mims. That's my pick.
I like Mims a lot.
Higgins, Pittman Jr., Chenault.
Pittman would be my pick.
I'm going to go with Mims.
I am rising on Denzel Mims.
Yeah, he's a strong big boy.
Very, very high upside. Very high.
Nice high upside. That's what you want. What did everybody think of Vrabel's family during the draft?
There it was.
I don't know how many people know what you're talking about. We're laughing about, Mike. Why don't you say what we saw?
So, what we saw,
there was the obvious and then the not obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, so the obvious was the guy in the Titan, superhero suit, which was very strange.
And the Tiger King on the other side.
And then you had the Tiger King, and it was like, wow, this Vrabel went all out. He's got this entourage, some funny things are being said. And then they make their pick. Some moments have passed, and I check my Twitter feed, and someone highlights and circles a part of that picture that I had not seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are taking photos or live streaming, and I've even got some panic right now.
Oh yeah,
where it's is there a reflective surface somewhere in your shot? And also, this is why you poo with the door closed at all times. So a dude dropping a deuce made it onto the NFL draft, and it was
16.5 million people.
So funny.
Enjoyed that deposit.
That's television we signed up for.
We could spend 30 minutes on this guy, but I'm serious. I was making a joke about the door.
We couldn't spend 30. You are the pro at 30 minutes on poop.
I do not believe that he was pooping, because it's impossible to think that while the crew is going on that you don't shut the door. How could that happen?
That's what I mean. You're right around the corner. How's that door open?
But I guess there is no crew, right? It's just cameras set up and you and your family at home. So
did you forget?
Mike Vrabel's come out and said it was somebody sitting. One person said a couch. One person said a stool. They are denying that
sitting and stool has already been announced, huh? Okay. Well, I don't do my stool standing, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh! Oh, they said he wasn't. There's another shot of him apparently where he was in the same spot with shorts on. I choose to believe in poo.
Yeah, I choose to
and
believe.
I also put my shorts on after I stool. Oh my gosh! All right, I have the 104 in a Dynasty Superflex. I need a QB. Should I draft Tua?
Dynasty Superflex 104.
Probably.
So Burrow will be gone.
Yeah.
And you need a quarterback. Sure.
I'm okay with it.
Man. Yeah, the other two, outside of the pooper, by the way, the other guys were kind of weird. Like, there was more going on there.
The Titan guy was so bizarre.
The Titan guy was nothing compared to the weird mullet man on the other side.
The mullet guy was
He was
the Titan
the
guy
one
for me.
Frozone, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was Frozone.
Yeah, my wife comes in the room and was like, "Why is a guy dressed as Frozone?"
So, by the way, to catch people up, before we close this thing out, Jason's winning our competition for draft picks going to certain places, the predictions we made on the Thursday episode of the Fantasy Footballers podcast. Jason's winning, but all hope is not lost. Mike and I have Jonathan Taylor going to Detroit in the second round. Well, we didn't say the second round, but obviously that was what was going to happen for Jonathan Taylor.
I didn't think he was going top 3, which
I guess I mean Swift, because Swift we had Miami, and we thought maybe one of their first rounders, which was 3 of them, might have been Swift.
Which I can only comment about this with, hearsay, rumor mill, like from Ian Rappaport and things like that. But the guys in the know said there was real conversation between Miami and Detroit for them to switch the 3 and the 5. If you're Detroit and you were going to take the cornerback, how do you not move down? Like it's literally one pick that you have to worry about because Miami's moving up for the quarterback.
I've watched enough NFL drafts, Mike, because Jason said the same thing about the Jordan Love situation, where Jordan Love, they moved up to get Jordan Love, but all the picks behind Jordan Love were teams that had no need for a quarterback whatsoever. But these GMs get paranoid.
Including the Packers.
They get paranoid about someone sliding up ahead of where they are. So only one pick. It would have been because the Giants talked about trading down. Somebody comes up, takes the Giants spot, and steals their cornerback. They just always seem to get afraid.
I'm just saying, like, if Miami's moving up, they're going to grab the quarterback. You only have to worry about the Giants. So it was that player really graded out that far and away over every single person on your draft board that it's not worth getting the price of moving down from a top 3 pick? That just blew my mind that they, at the end of the day, they didn't move down.
I'm with you, Mike.
Yeah, I think Okuda is that much better. So for me, I'm content with
him.
He could be.
All right.
Was that a Akuda Matata that you slipped in there? What a wonderful phrase.
All right. We've got a question from Matt. Do you think any of the OTs that went have much of an impact on current options?
I am very happy for the Cleveland Browns. Like it looks like they have fixed their offensive line problem right now.
Yeah, I mean they fixed both tackles, trading for the Titans' right tackle and drafting a left tackle. So that's a clear and obvious one.
I mean, it was a huge pick for Tampa to strengthen what's going on with Brady and protecting him with all those weapons there as well. I mean, I thought that was a great pick. They ended up having to move up and grab him. So that was the one thing, obviously as a Cardinal fan, thrilled that Simmons, who is a top 3 type of talent, drops to us at 8. Well, we got to get some O-line here too in the second round. So, but this has been a lot of fun. I think we're going to wrap this thing up. One final reminder. First of all, let me say this. Enjoy the evening because we only get this once a year. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Mike's going to just look at pictures of Clyde Edwards. Hilaire.
Oh, I can't wait to draft him.
Pre-order the UDK by Sunday to be entered to win a Listener League spot. The Ultimate Draft Kit is the most valuable tool to get you ready for your fantasy season.
UltimateDraftKit.com.
That's going to do it for this live stream from Cliff Kingsbury's house. Andy Holloway signing out. Jason Moore from some kind of draft that still has pictures of Adrian Peterson up in the background.
We got all the classics.
He's taking off. And Mike, of course, in his office that I know is very hot. Mike is covered in sweat right now.
You
in all
have
sorts
no
of
idea.
Places. So,
and we'll be giving full draft reactions again, breaking down second round and on. And I'm sure we'll recap some of the first. But on next week's podcast, on the Fantasy Footballers podcast, we will still be around next week. Don't worry.
Take care, Footline. See you later.
Goodbye.